I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and we have here in the studio the Squirrel Hillbillies from Squirrel Hill, I believe, right here in Pittsburgh. That's Gary and Jenny, and they've been so good to come in here and play some live music for us this afternoon. So what do you guys want to play for us?
We're going to start with the song we wrote. It's called Insane When We're Apart.
Okay, this is the Squirrel Hillbillies here on acousticSongs Live.
When darkness falls, these walls close in on me. The old wood floors tick like a ship at sea. The leaky faucet drips a rhythm for my heart. Seems I go insane when we're apart. The telephone, it moans when you don't call. The clothes you leave behind go traipsing through the hall. The mattress and the pillows turn cold and hard. Seems I go insane when we're apart. Without your hand, I'm out of touch. Without your voice, I don't hear much. Your burning gaze fills my darkest days with light. I hope you bring my senses back tonight. Without your hand, I'm out of touch. Without your voice, I don't hear much. Your burning gaze fills my darkest days with light. I hope you bring my senses back tonight. When I peer into the mirror, there's a face I've never seen. My perfume faintly smells of gasoline. For comfort, I'd curl up with a rusty wrecking bar. Seems I go insane when we're apart. Seems I go insane when we're apart.
Awesome, awesome. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys sound great. You can hear it through the headphones. It sounds really cool. So I don't see any squirrels here, and I don't see any hillbillies. So I.
Well, you see our Squirrel Hillbillies. That's
Yeah.
what you see.
Yeah.
We call ourselves urban hillbillies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's a different breed.
so the name came from.
So we were, when we first started playing together, we were Bain and Krauth. We were satisfied with that, but well, Gary wasn't. Old corporate days. A friend of ours named BJ, Brenda Jean, she's a local artist, said, you know, you guys sound like a couple of tax accountants. You really need a better name. And plus, she was like, plus you need a name so your friends can come join you sometimes on some of your shows. So we thought, all right, we started just coming up, every week we were just coming up with whatever would come in our heads. And no. One day, I was walking down Murray Avenue, in fact, in Squirrel Hill. I was like, we're the Squirrel Hillbillies. We both live in Squirrel Hill. I don't know, it had never occurred to us before that, but ever since, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we perform here in town, we get a lot of chuckles. And when we leave, oddly enough, people think the name is hilarious, even though they don't know the reference to Squirrel Hill.
Yeah.
They just think it sounds funny.
Yeah. Well, so when you're out of town and you go to another city and you say, we're the Squirrel Hillbillies. So
yeah, in Toronto, they're like, oh, that's so funny. I'm like, huh.
Cool. I like it. It's a great name. And it definitely kind of puts the band, it matches your sound. It's kind of cool.
We figure we're a little quirky, a little unconventional.
Yeah. So tell me about the origins of how you guys actually ended up playing together. I was looking through your bios and even just got here to Pittsburgh. You're both you weren't born here. You came from other places, and this is your adopted home, I guess, right? Who wants to go first, Jenny or Gary?
Go ahead, Jenny.
Well, we started playing. We met through a folk orchestra that meets at the First Unitarian Church in Pittsburgh, which also hosts a music series called Song Space. I'll just give a plug because this Saturday, tomorrow, the Song Space concert features the Stray Birds, which is a wonderful contemporary band of three young folks that write original music in a traditional style.
And that's at the First Unitarian Church?
It is at 7:30 tomorrow night, the 9th of March.
Is that in Shadyside?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to let our folks know out there.
At the corner of Morewood and Ellsworth.
Okay.
And it's a $15 suggested donation. And opening for them will be Broken Fences, which is a local duo.
Oh, yeah. They've been here on the
show.
show. Yeah.
Yes. So it's going to be a great show. So the First Unitarian Church has a folk orchestra that meets every Tuesday night. And we both started playing in that around 6 years ago, maybe longer. And it's just a wonderful assortment of folks who show up and all different instruments. And it's led very capably by Emily Pinkerton.
Oh, wow.
Another local singer-songwriter.
Wow.
Multi-instrumentalist.
I got to check this out. I didn't know.
It's a really fun. We no longer play with them because Tuesday nights are our rehearsal night now as a duo. But for years we were in the folk orchestra.
But you grew up in Greenwich Village.
Yes.
I was looking over your bio, and it says that you were unaware of the whole folk scene.
I didn't come to folk music till about maybe 15 years ago. Completely oblivious. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
My parents are musicians too, and they play jazz. And I grew up really on pop music and show tunes, and yeah.
Well, there's so much music, in New York City to so many diverse types of things. It's I could see how you could be right in the middle of something and be listening to Broadway tunes your whole life because I've never been to Hershey, Pennsylvania, so I've grown up in Pennsylvania. So, how about you, Gary? How did you wind up here? And
I'm also from New York State, but upstate New York.
Okay.
So upstate of the city, in Rome, New York, which is right in the center of the state, right in the middle. And I did grow up listening to folk music, and I started playing guitar in 5th grade because I just wanted that sound, and so that's what I grew up with. Not show tunes, not rock.
Well, I see one of your first gigs was on the Erie Canal.
The Erie Canal actually was started in Rome, New York, in my hometown, and they dug it from Rome, New York, out to Albany and Buffalo.
Yeah.
And so they restored part of the Erie Canal right there in my hometown, and I did. That was my first gig. My first paid gig was playing on a replica packet boat that ran up and down the Erie Canal, just about a quarter-mile stretch. And I played actually the banjo.
So you were doing the Pete Seeger thing.
Yeah, I did the Pete Seeger thing.
Yeah.
I did old Erie Canal tunes on the Erie Canal.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was fun. It was the best job I ever had, except for being a Squirrel Hillbilly, of course.
Well, I'm glad you guys came to Pittsburgh. What brought you here? Was this college or
for me? It
just
was
work?
Graduate school, and my husband came for a job, a postdoc, and then we've stayed since then.
Cool.
And my job brought me here. I originally started working as an engineer up in Potsdam, New York, which is way at the top of New York State. And I moved down here in 1980 as part of that job.
Oh, okay.
And stayed. There was no reason to move.
Well, I saw a posting yesterday that Pittsburgh was chosen as one of the most livable city in the United States. It beat out Honolulu, Hawaii, which was, I don't know. When I was watching this gray snow thing area, like thinking, how is that possible? I want to be in Hawaii right now.
But it is. It's a really easy place to live. I find coming from New York City, you have a lot of the amenities without a lot of the stress.
Yeah.
Although I still love New York City.
Yeah. Well, the East End is probably, of all the places I can think of to live in the city, that's where to go to live, because you've got all the stuff that's kind of, the East End Food Co-op and all the, bike paths and Frick Park and all the really cool stuff is like right there.
And the universities and the library.
And the museums.
Yeah.
Yeah, culturally it's really, I wish that the schools were better because I would move there. That's the only thing I think that was keeping us from going. We were trying to think of where to go to move, and there were a couple places. It just happened we wound up where we are. But anyway, would you guys play another song for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
We're playing songs today off of our current CD, which is self-titled and released last fall with beautiful cover artwork by Bill Versack, who's a local watercolor painter.
That really is cool.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And this next song is called Sammy's Old Country Band.
Hold it up.
Okay.
Yes.
I played guitar in Sammy's old country band. We hit the radio and little bars now and then. Sammy's old now, he can hardly stand. He paid us in cash, said he felt like a wealthy man. Laura arrived, Sammy said, boys, take 5. She packed my guitar, headed outside. Motor running, Laura said, would you please drive? We pulled away slowly and she put her hand on my thigh. Wind whistled the car at cruising speed. Laura said we have much more than we ever will need. We'll live like kings in the desert near old Genesee. The scenery changed and the air became harder to breathe. Oh, mama, I have gone astray, chasing a song for so long I keep losing my way. Still play guitar, but the stations and bars have all changed. Laura's been gone now for years, said she just couldn't stay. Things I seen in the desert, they rattle my brain. I wish I was with Sammy's old country band again. Yes, I wish I was with Sammy's old country band again.
Very, very nice. Brought out the mandolin, huh?
I did. I think I'm going to retune it before the next time.
Oh, are they hard to tune?
No, just a little bit warmer maybe than when I tuned it. Yeah.
Yeah.
8 strings rather than 4
Maybe
or
you
6.
can have a chat while I do that.
Okay.
It's at least it's not like the banjo. I mean, the banjo is like one of those instruments that just seems to just
perpetually out of tune.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. In the recording studio, we had someone playing the banjo in the recording studio. We had to keep taking breaks, like, got to retune.
That's right. That's right. Thus, all of the banjo jokes that are available out there.
Yeah. There's probably jokes for every particular type of.
True.
You know any?
I don't. I am so terrible with jokes, as anyone who knows me knows.
Remembering them. That's why I have a hard time remembering.
Or sometimes I'll remember everything except the punchline, or sometimes I'll just remember the punchline. And either way, it's not very funny.
Yeah. So, what were some of the artists that you listened to growing up that you were talking about? You got into folk music because of listening.
I was really into Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, cool.
I loved Simon and Garfunkel, and I remember trying to play guitar along with their songs, and trying to learn their songs.
You had quite a fancy guitar back then.
I didn't.
Tell me about your guitar back in those days.
Tell me about your guitar.
Back in the days.
Yeah.
Well, I learned playing guitar on a Spanish guitar. I don't know if you know what that is. They're huge, and they're archtop, and they have a tailpiece, and the action was just atrocious on the thing.
Really high?
It was just awful. Yeah, it was very, very difficult to play, and I was in 5th grade, so I wasn't very big, so it was very difficult for me to get my arm around the thing and be able to push down the strings with my left hand.
But you didn't give up.
I didn't give up, and I
Thank
think.
goodness.
Yeah, I had my first was a harmony 6-string that I didn't even know what action was. I just thought your fingers were supposed to bleed.
Right.
Like that was part of you had to build the calluses and everything, and
Yeah. Well, people would say to me, "Yeah, but you have to suffer if you want to sing the blues," and I kept saying, "But I don't want to sing the blues." Back then when I first started.
Now he's all about blues.
Now I'm all about blues.
Well, the harmonies are very, Simon and Garfunkel type of
really?
rich. That the harmonies really, sound great. You guys obviously have spent some time working those things out. It sounds awesome. So.
Our next song doesn't have any harmony.
Oh.
No, right? No. But this one's good for you because you met Gary right at the co-op.
Yeah.
So this next song is, we don't tell the name of it because it gives away the punchline, but it's about healthy living.
Okay.
Ready?
Ooh, you got that free range look, unshaved and barefoot. No artificial color scheme. You are as real as you seem. Loving you comes naturally. Must be organic chemistry. I like the way you meditate. Your gaze puts me in a state. You got that gentle healing touch. You smooth things out when life gets rough. Loving you comes naturally. Must be organic chemistry. I like the chickens in your yard, your pumpkin patch and your Swiss chard. Your gifts are precious and so rare. You're like a good night's sleep and a breath of fresh air. Two, three, four. solar panels on your roof, your loyalty to local food, the way you compost and reuse, your being green soothes my blues. Loving you comes naturally, must be organic chemistry. The yoga poses that you strike, the way you look by candlelight. I like your elemental properties. Bonding with you requires no scientific expertise. I'm stuck on you like sap on trees, like nectar from the honeybees. Must be organic chemistry.
That's such a fun song.
It's fun to play.
It's just fun to do. I like startling people with the first note. Oh!
You just described my whole life there, though.
Exactly. You're our people.
I was like looking at the cold frame every day, like thinking, well, can I put something out there? Yeah. Oh, well, the Swiss chard.
There we go.
This is
You got
might
any
be
chickens?
ready.
It's next on the list. Yep, I'm looking at getting some pullets and starting all that. We moved to, there's 30 acres where we are, and there's
Wow.
it's a 1870 farmhouse, and we have like 1 acre that we live on, but there's 30 that the owner of the property has, which I would wish he would part with, but I don't have that kind of money. It's like 30 acres in McMurray, developers start looking at that like, how can I make money off of that? Or thankfully, they have a 40-acre limit on the drilling, so it's like, they ever wanted to start doing fracking. I was like, one of my biggest concerns was like they'd put up a drill rig on the properties, but yeah, that's, you'll have to come out sometime and check it out. Maybe you could maybe you can give me ideas if you guys are doing that kind of stuff, with chickens. Do you have chickens?
No, we write songs
We
about
only write
chickens.
songs about chickens. We have friends with chickens, though.
I've heard people raising chickens in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely.
And,
I have a couple friends doing it.
There's a 5 chicken limit
Oh, yeah?
in the
Zoning.
city of Pittsburgh. You're allowed to have up to 5 chickens.
Okay. Well, what about then the eggs? How many eggs can you have? Which came first? Are they going to start counting eggs in your refrigerator too? It's like,
Good question. But there's a no egg limit right now, but there is a chicken limit.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be cool. My daughter's vegan, so she doesn't eat eggs. So, but I watch my cholesterol, so I don't eat a lot of eggs. But it'd be cool just to have chickens. I think to be able to.
Chickens just are cool.
It's the Squirrel Hillbillies.
That's right. You can quote us on that.
How about goats? That's something.
We used to call my firstborn, when she was a newborn, she used to have a baby. Her baby's cry was just like a goat. We used to call her a goat. Yeah. No real goats in our lives.
No.
Just baby.
Or songs about goats.
No, we don't have any songs about goats.
Can you keep goats in the city of Pittsburgh?
I don't know what the rules are around that. I spent 6 months in Jamaica, and we had goats everywhere there. Yeah. Don't know. Even in Kingston. Don't know about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you guys have coming up as far as gigs lined up?
We play every month at the Pittsburgh Public Market, which is currently at 17th and Smallman, but it's going to be moving. They just announced yesterday they're leasing a new space at 24th and Penn. But for now, anyway, 17th and Smallman on Sunday, March 17th. And then in April, we will be in Indiana, Pennsylvania, there on their radio show. But in May, we're going to West Virginia to the Purple Fiddle. They have live music every weekend.
Great place.
Great place.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
We haven't been there yet.
So. It's getting down. It's in the middle, but it's what a place. It's just it's a place, and John's great, and you'll have a great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. That'll be May 4th and 5th, and then we'll be at the Pittsburgh International Children's Festival. This will be our 4th year doing that, which is mid-May. And a bunch of other things thrown in. Biddle's Escape as a place in Regent Square. We'll be playing in June.
Right.
We'll be at the Carnegie Library Summer Reading Extravaganza in the main branch also in June. So, and then we're going on tour this summer, New York. We're hitting in 1 week. We're going to Angelica, Ithaca, Rochester, Carmel, and Red Hook right now, and then we're still working on a New York City gig during that week.
Awesome.
That'll be fun.
Oh, that sounds like fun. You guys, the Biddles Escape Place. That's a new place,
Yes.
right? It's just kind of. I've seen a lot of postings about that.
It's fun.
Regent Square, right? I'll have to
Technically Wilkinsburg, I think, but it's in that area. Yeah.
have to check that out and go look at it. I've so a lot of friends that seem to be playing over there. So you want to do another tune for us?
Yeah, we're gonna play another song off the CD. It's called "The Carney."
The carney came in wagons set up at the edge of town. Ropes and cables tangled on the ground. Creaky wooden stages and saggy little tents. A crooked sign that advertised admission 50 cents. By the time the people from the factory headed home, the sun was barely in the sky and the carney was aglow. Passing by the wagons sitting empty on the rocks, most of us lined up and dropped our coins into the box. The carney show ran through the night. I stayed until the dawn. And as I stepped outside the tent, I heard a little song. The music drew me back inside and everything was wild. A monkey walked the tightrope, or perhaps it was a child. Feathers fell from rafters, tickling clowns who scratched their heads. A man appeared from nowhere, and this is what he said. The wonder and the longing that have brought you in this tent are fuel for the long journey you're embarking on, my friend. If you lose your way, it's okay, just close your eyes. Listen for the little song and let it be your guide. Now I still work the factory, turning knobs and gears, making things nobody needs. My mind is far from here. I'm back at the carney, balanced high on the tightrope. Or maybe it's not me, but just a monkey in a coat. For a little happiness to help your life along, step right up, step inside and listen for the song. And it goes like this.
All right. Nice.
Thank you.
I want to applaud. That's I was looking at the liner notes from your CD, and it says that your tracks are recorded using a Rode NT1A microphone, an Apogee Duet. All the specifics here. Did you do this at your house?
Mm-hmm. My house.
In the living room type of thing?
Actually, upstairs, the one room in my house that has carpeting.
So
we tried all different spots and decided we needed a little upholstery. And we got some very, very clean tracks. As a matter of fact, when we took them to Doug Wilkin to mix, he said, wow, I don't have to do anything to these. They were clean, so that was nice. Gary really did all the recording, did a very nice job. And then Doug helps us mix it, and then he mastered it.
So you just had one mic set up?
We recorded we tracked everything separately.
Oh, everything. Okay, I was
right.
I thought it was like like the bluegrass type of thing where you stand around.
We do sing that way. We just performed that way, in fact, live, just in front of the same mic, the Rode.
Right.
The only thing is feedback. So in live performance spaces, we can only do it under certain conditions. But we love doing it that way.
Yeah.
For performances, it's great. For recording, it was just a matter of getting through a whole take without making a mistake or without
being able to finesse it. Gary's guitar work is so beautiful, and on the CD, it really features his guitar work. And this way, he was able to take the time to go over it and over it and over it without worrying about whether my vocals were the right set while his guitar playing was going on. Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to listening to it because you guys sound great live. Just listening to you live, if it sounds anything like that, it's it's going to be awesome. So you sound your voices blend really well, and your playing is just awesome. So if people want to pick up your CD, which
thank you for reminding. We always forget to say we are online on the regular retailers, Amazon, iTunes, CD Baby. We're also in Pittsburgh, physically at the Acoustic Music Works store in Squirrel Hill, run by Steve Miklas, who's kind enough to put it out on his front counter, and also at Pittsburgh Center for the Arts Gift Shop, which features local artists and also has some musicians. So our CD's there. And we also always have copies with us at all our gigs.
The gigs, yep. That's cool. Yeah, I was wondering as far as, doing the online thing when you did your fundraising for your CD. We were talking a little bit about that with the Kickstarter and doing online fundraising, and that was very successful for you and helped you to get the CD made. And,
you know what it really did? Once we were out there publicly and taking money from people for the project, it really put pressure on us to finish it. Because no longer was this a project where, if
we get around
to this, well, if we get it done, it'll be good, but if we don't, then that's okay. We had people actually saying, okay, we want you to finish this, and here's some money towards it.
It's true.
I noticed a difference.
Yeah. Plus, the other thing that got us going was that we opened for Joe Crookston last fall, who is one of our favorite folk artists, independent folk artists, and we knew we were going to be opening for him. We thought, well, that's a good reason to have our CD done by fall. We are now working on our second CD, and we're going to actually do a song from that, which has not yet been recorded, and which we're still arranging. So right now it'll just be guitar and vocals, with some harmony, but eventually there will be some other instruments, and we're toying with whether it'll be banjo or fiddle or cello or what.
What's the name of this one?
It's called Refugee.
Cool.
And our songs come from all different places, and this one began as a poem, which is not true for all of our music.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about that too.
Yeah.
As far as songwriting is concerned. This is Refugee. In case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs live from WNJR studios here in Washington, Pennsylvania at 91.7 FM, and we stream live at WNJR.org. I have to say that every half an hour, and I realized I missed this is WNJR in Washington, PA, and you're listening to the Squirrel Hillbillies. It's a new tune. It hasn't been released yet, so we're lucky to hear it.
First time on the radio.
That's right.
Crashing waves, cheap motel, fragile like a broken shell, washed ashore, the undertow has passed. Salty tears, rising tide, sifting through what's left behind. Pocket full of sand and frosted glass. Longing for a place to be, harbored by the gracious sea. Refugee. Howling wind, drenching rain, branches bend beneath the strain. Dark sky stretches outward without end. Picket fence, pair of boots, freshly picked, taking root, waiting for the sun to come again. Longing for a place to be, sheltered by the patient trees. Refugee. Bitter cold, frost that bites, guarded like a sheet of ice. Pick and shovel, buried in the snow. Pins and needles, leaves and bark, spindle rolling, catch a spark. Daylight breaking as the embers glow. Longing for a place to be, fostered by the rising heat. Refugee.
Very, very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So
That
that came out of a poem?
Yeah, that one was it was started as a poem one night. It was called Rescue Me, actually. And it was a lot of the same imagery of being in different places and desperate. And I sent off some, and we have all of our songs are a complete collaboration. There's really no song that was just written by one or the other of us. And I sent this poem off to Gary, I think by text maybe even, I can't remember. And he said, oh, I like this, let me see what I can do. And he set it to music that was kind of joyful, kind of playful, like da, 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 sort of Sesame Street. And when he came back to me, I was like, ooh, like, and he said, well, it was just going to be so sad if I made it sound the way your poetry was. And I thought, well, that's great, but now we need to change. It shouldn't be Rescue Me anymore. Let's see what else it could be. And when we thought about it, we thought, oh, it's really about somebody who's looking to find themselves, and maybe it's more refugee. And the other thing we toyed with was Gary had proposed Rescue Me from me, as though maybe it's really the person just needs to get out of themselves and find their way that way. So once we had the refugee, we then went back and started refining some of the verses, and yeah.
I think it settled into what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
Which was more of a hopeful song.
You work collaboratively on lyrics and all that type of thing. It kind of, it's cool. It's I haven't reached the point where I've been able to do that. Probably could use it. I write some depressing songs. I was just thinking about that. Like, yeah, I got a few of those depressing songs. Like, I wish I would have given that to someone else. They could have given it a little bit more of an upbeat thing. 'Cause
We need the depressing songs too.
We do some depressing songs, it's true. But we were just at Folk Alliance International.
I was going to ask you about that. What a great lead-in.
It was a wonderful experience in Toronto this year, but it normally had been in Memphis, and it's moving to Kansas City, and it's an international, conference of musicians.
I have never been to it, but I've wanted to go, and I thought it was always in Memphis. And
yes, so it does move, and this was the one year it was going to be drivable, so we decided to do it in Toronto.
I would have been awesome. I love Toronto.
And especially the DJ, I know you're a musician first, but the DJ community is also very strong in this group. And this conference is musicians and presenters, people who put on shows, and DJs, and we all are in one place. And one of the things that happens is showcases, which we performed at, but the other thing is workshops. And there was a workshop on songwriting, and it was for singer-songwriters. You were supposed to bring a work in progress, although that was miscommunicated. So we brought a piece that was more finished than we might have, but anyhow, it was okay.
Hey, we're way ahead of you guys.
Other people misunderstood as well, so it was fine. We were the only duo that showed up. Everyone else was a singer-songwriter, and we are singers-songwriters as a duo. And what I was noticing during that workshop was the feedback that this panel of very great people, including DJs and songwriters and agents and producer types, were giving was the same kind of feedback we give each other. Because we sort of have it built in. When you have a duo, you have a little of that built in. You can still get a little isolated from the rest of the world, but at least you have someone to say, hey, that's kind of depressing, or that's kind of cliche, or you've already done that riff like 18 times, how about we mix it up the next verse, or and that's the kind of thing I think we benefit from as a duo. I would never be writing music on my own, so there was no question for me that this is the only way I would be writing music.
And without Jenny, I would just have a shoebox full of half-written, quarter-written things that I just kind of spit out and then said, well, this was fun to do, but never finished. So oftentimes I will bring a half-finished song to Jenny and just say, well, I don't know what this wants to be, but here's what I've got. I've got part of it. And
Carney was interesting that we played earlier, because Carney was for months was just this riff he kept playing. There were no words to it, but it was like you could just hear this kind of gypsy jazz thing, and eventually he said, I think this might be about a carnival. And so sometimes that's where the songs come from. Sometimes there's a story we want to tell. Oh, we're not ready to do this song. Next time we come on next year, maybe. We have a brand new song called Bless You Man, which we're really last night just sort of finished arranging, so it's not ready to do.
Yeah.
But it came from a story of something that happened, and it was just a matter of figuring out how to put it into a song. And so that was another way that we end up with.
It took 3 years.
It took 3 years
to tell that story.
It did.
Wow. I find the same thing where I have notebooks of stuff, and then patching them together sometimes into a song where you have like different movements.
Right.
I find is sometimes helpful. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be a complete thing, and maybe it's just supposed to be this. Like the Beatles did that so much. They had like one thing going into another thing, and when I started playing around with that, I realized like, oh, that was in the same key. Just the rhythm's a little bit different. It's like, well, I need a transition now. And I don't have people to bounce it off of. So anybody listening out there, hey, all you singing vocal female ladies, I need a taskmaster.
We often say to each other when we're listening to music, that person needs a duo partner.
Yeah, it being on your own is kind of you do everything. It's tough, and I do agree with the having Kickstarter folks, having people that donate and kind of like you're answering. I mean, there have been some folks that have said to me like, well, you're using other people's money. It's really not. You're not really putting a risk into it, and I think really. You're using other people's money. You really want to make a good product. It even takes. It's a step beyond you spending your own money on something.
For us, it was actually higher risk because now we had people who were showing their confidence in us
Mm-hmm.
by giving their money to us to do this CD
And
project.
taking the time to even register on Kickstarter. And,
Yeah.
Our party was a hoot. Our CD release party was just really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I missed that one. I didn't know.
We're going to add you to the list.
You're gonna have.
Glad
I'm
you-
missing. Like
so we
I'm
are-
hearing all this new stuff, this folk orchestra,
Exactly.
and I'm like, where have I been? You know, it's like I feel like I'm like I'm not living in the East End. It's like
That's-
you guys have like this circle of folks in the East End that just like kind of like talk. Hey, we're doing this and doing this, and all those other guys laying in the outlying areas. Way up, in Pennsylvania,
We still
know
care
what?
about you, though.
We do, and I'll say that folk orchestra draws from from all around, including our good friend who we met through the folk orchestra, who lives out near here. She works in Canonsburg, and her name's Cindy Carroll, and a musician, and she treks all the way in for folk orchestra.
See,
Yeah.
the only one I know about is the Acoustic Cafe on Monday,
Yes,
and I
that's
never
great.
get.
That's
I
awesome.
never make it there because Monday's a terrible night if you have kids. It's like you're like. Anyway, we have some time to
Should we
do
two?
another song.
Should we do two more before we finish? Or?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can. You have enough time
Then
for
let's,
it.
Do you want to put in what you gonna do before we close it out? Or what's your preference? It's a democracy here.
It is.
You have anything else you'd want to do?
What you gonna do? Works
What
for
you gonna
me.
do is nice because this is one that was inspired by a walking around Pittsburgh, talking about being in the East End. This was seeing a scene at the bus stop and thinking, wow, that's something we've all seen before. It was a mom with a child at her side just having a complete meltdown, and this woman was oblivious on her phone. Not oblivious, just really had been there and done that and had other things she wanted to attend to. And it features some real nice guitar work from Gary. I see him just checking to make sure.
Making sure I got
All right.
the right frets on today.
It's called What You Gonna Do. Baby crying, ma'am, what you gonna do? Flapping her little hands, you got them, Lord have mercy blues. Busy talking on the phone at the bus stop heading home. Baby feeling so alone. World weighing down on you. What you gonna do? Boyfriend on the phone, what you gonna do? He don't wanna be alone. You got them can't be bothered blues. Stories running on the screen, way too tired to cook or clean. Boyfriend wanna see his queen. World weighing down on you. What you gonna do? Landlord at the door, what you gonna do? Time to pay him more, you got them empty pocket blues. Working hard as he can, moving fast without a plan. Landlord ain't a patient man. World weighing down on you. What you gonna do?
Nice.
I always love the way Gary ends his songs. So that features some of his nice finger work there.
Yeah, nice finger picking, Gary.
Thank you.
Where did you, learn to do all that good stuff?
Well, I started, like I mentioned before, I started taking guitar lessons when I was in 5th grade. And for a couple of years, I just played with this huge Spanish guitar and learned the notes. And then I met a guitar teacher who actually used to play in the Jackie Gleason Orchestra. I didn't know that at the time, though, but he was a professional musician, and I was introduced to him, and I started taking classical guitar lessons. And I had a harmony classical guitar at the time, and I just fell in love with fingerstyle guitar playing, which of course is the classical style. But that's where I learned my right hand, what to do with my right hand, and from there just fell in love with other kinds of finger picking guitar work, including the blues.
It's funny when we go places, I'll hear someone like, we were just at Folk Alliance, Jim Queskin was there, and I'm like, he plays just like you. Like, you can hear that blues finger picking style that Gary plays in certain people. The other one was Ernie Hawkins has a little, or was it?
Yeah,
a
that's,
little of that going
That's
on.
who I was thinking of because I saw Acoustic Music Works and he teaches them from there, and I thought of Ernie. I was just wondering.
A wonderful player. I've learned a lot of licks from watching him.
Oh man, studying with Reverend Gary Davis, must have been amazing, and I can never play that way. It's just like I've given up on trying
Everyone has their styles.
I cannot.
In fact, it was Ernie Hawkins that inspired that last song, the musical part, because we
cool.
had just gone to see him, and I was like, "Hey, we don't have a song that's that style of blues." I forget what you called it.
That was kind of a Texas blues.
Yeah.
And
But you had written the lyrics already.
we had already written it, but that was like, I want that sound, and so yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Dead Thumb Blues, like Lightning Hopkins type of thing, Yeah.
Yeah, where he's got that bass going.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, in case you just joined us, this is Acoustic Songs Live, and we have the Squirrel Hillbillies here in the studio, and I think they're going to take us out with the song. Next week, we have Alan Whitney, who's coming to join us from, I believe, Baltimore area, and then the 22nd, I still have open. We may end up taking that week off, and then Slim Forsyth joins us on March 29th here in the studio. So tune in again next Friday at 1 p.m. to listen to what we think is probably the best roots music here in the Pittsburgh area, at least live music, roots music here, especially in Washington. And thank you guys so much,
Thank
Gary
you so
and Jenny.
So much fun.
Yeah.
The Squirrel Hillbillies. Go check them out live. They've been just awesome here to listen to, and go to their website, squirrelhillbillies.com, and pick up their CD. It's I can't wait to hear it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank
Mitch.
you.
What are you going to play for us?
We're going to close out with When I'm Gone, which is our sung last will and testament, so it's a nice one to end on.
Okay.
Well, I spill the milk, I spill the beans, I've run every stoplight I've ever seen. I play the wrong chords and I sing out of tune, and I tell all the punchlines way too soon. When I'm gone, pour beer on my grave, sing me a song about how I'll be saved. Drive my old car into the sea. Just don't forget about me.
Singing off key.
Don't forget about me. Well, I drink too much coffee and keep you awake with stories of nonsense adventures I take. I talk to the trees and I sing to the stars, and I dance with the chickens out there in the yard. When I'm gone, pour beer on my grave, sing me a song about how I'll be saved. Drive my old car into the sea. Just don't forget about me.
Talking to trees.
Don't forget about me. Give my guitar to the girl down the street, my coat to anyone cold that you meet. When I'm gone, I won't cry anymore about hunger and greed, anger and war. When I'm gone, pour beer on my grave, sing me a song about how I'll be saved. Drive my old car into the sea. Just don't forget about me.
When you're sipping your tea,
don't forget about me.
when you smell patchouli,
Don't forget about me.
That's the Squirrel Hillbillies here on WNJR Acoustic Songs live from WNJR in Washington, Pennsylvania.